What if many Catholics have been asking the wrong question? What if today's debates focus on the visible problems, while the deeper issue remains untouched? That is exactly what has sparked a new discussion. Everything began after a recent video by Jesuit priest Father Robert McTeigue. During a program titled Not One for Vatican II, aired on the stations of the Cross Radio Network, Father McTeigue questioned how the phrase full communion with Rome is being applied today. One example quickly stood out. If accepting Vatican II is treated as the main test of communion, then many Catholics, priests, theologians, and even bishops who openly reject church teaching on contraception and abortion would also seem to fall outside that same standard. From that point of view, traditional Catholics appear to face much stricter scrutiny, while other public disagreements often receive far less attention. That observation was welcomed by several well-known conservative Catholic voices, including Father Z, Mark Lambert, and Dr. Peter Kwasniewski. But another question soon follows. Does this explanation reach the real source of today's crisis? Some Catholics believe it does not. Instead of focusing mainly on how church authorities apply their rules, attention turns to something much more fundamental. Should Vatican II itself be treated as the defining standard of Catholic communion? From this point of view, Catholic unity has always rested on the entire deposit of faith. That includes sacred scripture, sacred tradition, the Church Fathers, Ecumenical Councils, and the perennial Magisterium. Because of that, no single 20th century council should become the sole measure of whether someone is Catholic. Another point often raised concerns the description of Vatican II as simply a pastoral council. Supporters of this view say that is not the central issue. Question instead centers on whether certain teachings can be fully reconciled with earlier church teaching. Several subjects are frequently mentioned. Among them are religious liberty, ecumenism, collegiality, and relations with non-Catholic religions. From this point of view, calling Vatican II pastoral does not resolve those concerns. Attention then shifts to how Vatican II was presented after the council. Pope Paul VI repeatedly described its teachings as belonging to the ordinary magisterium and called for religious submission from Catholics. More recently, Cardinal Victor Manuel Fernandez also stated that acceptance of Vatican II remains necessary for full canonical recognition in discussions with the Society of St. Pius X. For many observers, this raises another important question. If Vatican II carries binding authority, what happens when some believe certain teachings differ from earlier doctrine? If it does not carry that level of authority, then unconditional acceptance becomes much more difficult to explain. Another issue also remains. Would equal treatment alone solve today's crisis? Many believe it would not. Even if every Catholic received exactly the same treatment, questions about doctrinal continuity would still remain. Discussion also returns to Humanae Vitae. Vatican II reaffirmed traditional teaching against contraception. Yet, some argue that reaffirming certain long-standing teachings does not automatically settle questions surrounding every document produced during the council. As a result, conversation continues to move beyond questions of consistency or discipline. Attention instead turns to how Vatican II relates to the Church's historical tradition and long-standing teaching. Whether people agree or disagree with these conclusions, one thing is clear. Debate over Vatican II continues to shape many of today's conversations about the future of the Catholic Church.